T. Kent. It's a farm. Do they even have addresses? Look, the last super genius I had on the line told me to turn right on Route 31. Now I'm totally lost. Oh, about 1 billion stalks of corn. Ah! That's just great. Okay, if you smoke this, you are going to spend the rest of the night hating yourself. Oh my God. Are you okay? What's your name?
I don't know.
I need to get you to a hospital.
I'm fine.
You've just been hit by lightning, you're stark naked, and you don't even remember your own name. You have a fairly loose definition of fine. Look at his face. I have a blanket in the trunk. Don't move. I'll be right back.
Wait. Who are you?
Lois. Lois Lane.
What's going on, guys? Bart here with Television. I want to thank all of you for stopping by, new viewers, old viewers, returning viewers, future viewers, all the viewers. Thank you for stopping by here at Television. I hope that we can get a like, comment, share, subscribe. Every interaction helps with the algorithm. The march to 500 subscribers continues here at Television. And what we're going to be doing today is review on Smallville Season 4. It will be under the Small Talk playlist here at the channel, of course. Not to be confused with the Talkville podcast done by Michael Rosenbaum and Tom Welling himself, a.k.a. Clark Kent of Smallville. They don't endorse this at all. They're not involved in this at all. I don't want to cause any unnecessary expectations. Just doing a little silly here. Alright, so it's Tom Welling. I'm gonna go through the stars. Tom Welling as Clark Kent, Erica Durance as Lois Lane, Michael Rosenbaum as Lex Luthor, Christian Carrick as Carrick as Lana, Allison Mack as Chloe Sullivan, no Pete this year, of course John Snyder and Annette O'Toole as Ma and Pa Kent. And I want Glover, what's his first name? Mr. Glover, who plays Lionel Luthor. And I will say, in the overarching list of seasons, I'd have to say that this is the second best season of Smallville, making Smallville season 1 the best, season 4 the second best, season 2 third, and season 3 in last place at this current time. The reason why I'm placing this so high on the list so far is because there was a lot more um, episodes that I thought were entertaining and exciting. We had some new additions and introductions this year into um, the canon of the show. For example, Lois Lane, she was in about 13 episodes. And in this iteration, she is Chloe Sullivan's cousin. And the reason why she came to Smallville was to find out what had happened to her cousin Chloe, who we thought passed away at the end of season 3. We come to find out that she's alive and that Lex was able to help her escape with tunnels that were under the house, which would indicate that this house has been used as a hideout before. Because what's the odds that a fully functioning tunnel system is underneath the house that no one would really think about checking? Clark winds up crashing back down to Earth with amnesia, and Lois winds up finding him. That's how Clark and Lois make their introductions to each other. Hey, I know how to talk. Do you know how to talk? You sure about that? And in this season, their relationship was very I don't like you, but I like you type of flirtation. She was raised by a general, an army general, so she's very straight to the chase. Cut through all the BS type of stuff, and keeps Clark and everyone else around her on their toes. This isn't one of these annoying characters that thinks they know everything and it miraculously saves the day no matter what. She makes mistakes and she's willing to ask for help when absolutely necessary. So I think that she was a fine addition to this cast. I enjoyed the actress who played her. We also got two semi-regulars that also departed during this season. Jason Ackles as Jason Teague and Jane Seymour, Dr. Quinn, medicine woman, as Genevieve Teague, mother and son in the show. And what their parts in the show was Jason Eccles, was the boyfriend of Lana, who she met in Paris when she went away at the end of last season to study art and what have you. She came across Jason, and we soon find out that wasn't on accident. She wound up getting this mysterious symbol on her lower back. You know how the 90s were, bro, in the early 2000s. We know what the lower back tattoo means. That you just got a tattoo there. And we find out that Lana is the descendant of a witch that cursed the town who burned her at the stake with her coven, and Genevieve and Jason Teague are those descendants of those people that were cursed. And so they're trying to find these things called elements, which when joined together will give that person unfathomable power. Only Clark really, and possibly Lex, has any idea the true power of these elements. Genevieve is just trying to break the curse of a witch, you know what I mean? Which is crazy enough as it sounds. Forget about alien farm boy there, that you don't even realize that you're so tunnel vision on Lana that, Jason, though, put it all together near the end of the season. That's Clark at the center of this. He was like, it can't be coincidence that these same symbols were burned on his barn, X, Y, and Z. His end comes when he's fully exposed the plot. His end comes by Lionel Luthor's hands because he kidnapped them, him and the mother, to try to find out where the element is at. And they ended up escaping Lionel and Lex, and Jason winds up biting the big one. As he was explaining to Lex that it's Clark, Lionel takes him out, which confirms to Lex even more that something is going on with Clark. And I'll get a little bit into some of the episodes here that I want to talk about. Quick funny thing to me, the Clark and Lana had to go to China, and that's where they found one of the elements. It reminds me of this is an early Riverdale to where they do everything and still get straight A's and do all the extracurricular activities in high school. This season, Clark got to play football for real, and was the starting quarterback, and he was able to get a scholarship to Met U that he declined because he's going to stay behind and help Dad, Mr. Kent, with the farm. All right, some of the episodes that I want to touch on is the first one entitled Crusade, which introduces Lois. We find out Chloe's alive. We see Clark crashing down back to Earth with no memory. And I think that this was a great kickoff to the season because we're going through the eyes of Lois with everything to catch everybody back up on pace. That may not be exactly on par with what's been going on. I forgot what happened in season 3. So this was a great way to introduce Lois to us and catch up on everything. One of the other episodes I think that you guys should just check out and enjoy is called Run. It's episode 5, and it's when the Flash makes his canon appearance in the series. And the great thing that they did in this was Clark found a bunch of IDs. One was Jade Garrett, one was Wally West, one was Barry Allen. Those are all 3 Flashes from the comic books. So they didn't really stick to one particular Flash at the time in case they wanted to maybe bring him back and explore his backstory a little bit. And I think that they did the running gag pretty well. And at the end, Clark and the Flash have a little friendly race as the Flash takes off. And they were able to, Clark was able to remind him that it doesn't always have to be using your powers for the wrong thing. That it feels good to do the right thing sometimes. So I think that we'll be seeing this character in the upcoming seasons, in my opinion. Also, Lex finds a Kryptonian map that helps lead to some of the elementals, or however you want to call it, the stones, Kryptonian stones. There's 3 of them. When joined together, do crazy stuff. Well, it's to help Clark save the world, basically. One of the next episodes I want to talk about is actually the next one, Transference, episode 6, in which Lionel and Clark trade essences. At this point in time, Lionel's in jail for the murder of his parents, and was able to get his hands on a particular stone that when you and someone else hold that stone together, and you're both touching the stone, your essences will exchange into the other body. Lionel finds out about Clark and his powers, becomes highly inappropriate with Ma Kent, and which is kind of a weird thing to see. But one of the great parts about this episode is that Clark was very much acting like Lionel Luthor, and Lionel Luthor was very much acting like Clark Kent. The way that the actors in real life were able to pick up each other's cadences and body language throughout this particular episode was very much kudos to those two actors, Glover and Welling. So good job on that particular aspect, the nuances of that. Um, Episode 8, entitled Spell, kind of gives us the origin of the witch and the cursing and how it connects to Lana in current day and stuff like that. So interesting again. Episode 17. There's an episode in this particular season where we meet Mr. Megaprilix. I know I fucked that up. The little imp from the fifth dimension, but in this particular world, he has like probability powers, which I think is a pretty good little thing to change. It doesn't change the character too much, and allows him to still be a mischievous character that's after his own grand ideas, and not have him be a little imp from the fifth dimension. Episode 17, Onyx, in which Lex splits during, like his body essence splits into two, one good, one bad, during a wonky experiment at LexCorp, and we get to see really Lex Luthor at his villainous best here, and what's about to lay ahead for this character down the road. Lex Luthor is obviously one of Superman's greatest enemies, all based off of his mind, right? And we also see Lex, the evil version of Lex, finding out about Clark. And we see the debut of the kryptonite ring that in the comic books Lex would carry around with him, which eventually gave him some sort of cancer, but it was to keep Superman away. I liked that. And the last bit of episodes and I know this is way more episodes I suggested than that for last season, but this is how much I think this season really brought everything together and why it's so much higher up on the list than season 3. It's basically episodes 19, 20, 21, and 22, the last month of Smallville. And in Conception, it's Blank, Ageless, Forever, and Commencement. Basically, this leads to some of the final confrontations between Lana and Guinevere. Lana takes her out with one of the elements and winds up turning to Lex. Lionel winds up cleaning up the mess that Lana made and is blackmailing Lex to hand over the element from her. Otherwise, we're going to get in trouble with the murder. The curse is broken, though, and then she winds up giving the element to Clark near the end of this season. We also see in the episode Forever the death of Jason again. Lionel and Lex are captured by Jason and his mother, and as Lana was taking out Guinevere, Lionel had taken out Jason here before he can really reveal his theory about Clark to Lex there. And then Ageless I liked because it was the episode brought Lana and Clark closer together, because at this point Jason was kind of starting to be out of the picture because of his weird ways and everything, and Lana not trusting him. They found a boy in the field, a baby in the field that was given birthed by a woman who died, and then the father ran away because he was scared. And this boy ages rapidly to where he eventually passes away. And this really reconnected Lana and Clark together and made Lana say the first time she felt a connection in quite some time. And then finally, commencement was a blank was when Chloe found out about Clark's powers, but there was this guy who his powers were to wipe out your memory, and it had wiped out anyone's memory that day of Clark using his powers. But little did anyone know that she seen Clark before that day using his powers, and he didn't know anything about that. So if he doesn't know that there's those memories, he can't wipe them. So Chloe knows that Clark has superpowers at this point near the end. And finally, commencement is the high school graduation, but there's a meteor shower on its way to hit Smallville, and the army is trying to clear out Smallville, and Clark has to. Oh, come on! Sorry for that interruption. Had to go take care of something real quick. But as I was saying, the commencement episode is when Clark and Lana Chloe graduate from high school, but there's a meteor shower coming to Smallville, in which, being what happened all those years ago, put a panic into the town. Lana was at Lex's house, mansion. He was trying to get the element from her, which he gave to Clark. She felt like that he was the best choice to trust. And when Lex was about to send her off in the helicopter, that's when he realized she didn't have it. He didn't know what to do as far as Lionel blackmailing her and him to get the element. Because at this point, Lana had done in Jason's mother, Guinevere, right? So he still sends her off on the helicopter, but that helicopter winds up crashing into a field. Lana winds up getting into some sort of accident, and one of the last scenes is her looking at Smallville and the destruction and the smoke and fire bellowing out into the air. Yeah, there's just a lot of Jason at one point in one episode tried to take out Martha and Pa Kent. This season was wild. What had happened, though, eventually was when Clark combined the two elements, he triggered the third one, which Lionel had on him. Lionel went into a comatose state because of the influx of information that went into his head. Clark was able to run there, get it. He wanted to pass it out because it was in Lex's safe, and there's a bunch of kryptonite stuff there, artifacts. Luckily, Chloe was able to help him. Clark was able to escape, unbeknownst to Lex, but Lex feels that Chloe helped him somehow. And Lex is closer to finding out about Clark's secret, no doubt about it, at this point, if he doesn't kind of already assume that that's what's going on with him, is that he's very much clearly a part of this. Whatever's going on with the caves and the stones and all these things. Lex is a very smart individual. His intellect is one of his greatest assets, so to speak. So Clark was able to finally combine all three elements. He was transported to what's eventually going to be the Fortress of Solitude, and he winds up being taken by Jor-El, and that's kind of like where we leave the season off. So again, it's another will Clark come back, will Clark not come back, and we know that he will, because there's 6 more seasons after this. But just to kind of generally wrap up my feelings of season 4, the only reason why it came in second under season 1 was due to the fact that season 1 was such a big piece of television history for comic book and nerds, so to speak. It was so well done, and it was a perfect casting for everybody, so to speak. And season 3 and season 4 added a lot of different nuances and lore that was really interesting because we don't know much of what was going on in Clark's youth too much outside of that he wanted to play football, but his father convinced him that he was here for more than just throwing touchdowns, so to speak. So it's kind of good to see the foundation of Clark coming together now from childhood to young adulthood and eventually into Superman, from being a boy that's super. I still suggest watching through so you can see the progression. Everyone's hitting their stride with this, so to speak. Everyone's in who they're supposed to be. And it's just really great to see Lex finally flourishing more and more. Michael Rosenbaum is the greatest Lex Luthor to ever play Lex Luthor, in my opinion. I'm still a big Christopher Reeves guy for Superman, and I thought Brandon Routh was all right. Tom Welling, I think, was a perfect Clark Kent, Smallville version of Superman. But yeah, I think that this is definitely a season that you'll enjoy if you are getting into the Smallville rewatch. It seems to be really a show that's come back into zeitgeist and was to me a really important piece of television in regards to a lot of the movies and stuff that we see today, because it was a proven ground that these things can work. That's my opinion. Let me know down below what you think of this season, this series as a whole. Do you like Superman even? But until next time, peace, Snookums. Oh yeah!